Hi, we are going to talk about an analysis project of Design of Software System course. We are from Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information and Communication Technology. Our instructor is Mr. Saurabh Tiwari, who has done PhD in Software Engineering. Design of Software System. This course emphasis is on learning unified modeling language from the ground. It specifies functional semantics of an application using OCL. It is used to specify and evaluate software architectures. It helps us how to select and use appropriate architectural styles. It teaches us how to understand and apply object-oriented design techniques. It selects and uses appropriate software design pattern. From this course, you are able to understand and perform a design review. Purpose of the video is to let you know about some bases of UML design by a small project, Hostel Management System. This project report is made by me, Jagruti Joshi, and my partner Hardik Bohra. So let's start with the introduction part. So, Hostel Management System in hostel. What is hostel? Hostel is residence for students. It is a part of college or institute nowadays. So there is one separate hostel management staff for hostel who manages the information of hostel rooms, information of residents, information of services and all other information regarding the hostel. It helps to improve hostel facility. To manage this kind of information, or we can say to manage the entire hostel activity, the management staff required a system. In traditional hostel management system, the work was manual. They were doing work on paper and work on note. It was very hard. So for that, for the convenient work, we have made a system that is called a hostel management system. So basically this is the system which is used to improve work of hostel. So the purpose is, this system is designed in favor of the hostel management system, which helps to save the record of hostel activities and services. This system helps to manage the residence detail, to manage the allotted and vacant rooms, to provide a quick service, to complaint facility for the student, to resolve the complaints in a better way, to manage the events organized by hostel management staff. Objectives. The main objective of our system is to reduce the manual work of the student, to make a complaint. The main objective of HMC is to collaborate with all the students. The supervisor can manage the available information. It helps the hostel management from manual work, which is very difficult to maintain the information for a long time. Manual work takes lots of human effort, time and space. To overcome these things, hostel management system is used. In this, managed complaint management is the main part. Managed room allotment is also a main objective of the system, and handling event is a secondary objective. Okay. Now we will talk about the background. If we consider the purpose system for hostel management, at that time all the information about the students and the room allotment etc. are stored or maintained manually in some registers. This kind of stored data are not easy for getting analyzed information, and to get some information we have to put lots of effort. There are two parts or sub parts called contribution and technologies to be used. So let's talk about the contribution. Hostel management system can be used to assist in student allocation, student complaints and other activities like events held in hostel. This system will assist the staff in managing the hostel activities. To manage the hostel facilities, a lots of data need to be maintained, such as number of students hotel can accommodate, number of complaint making by the student, number of events held by the hostel, list of empty rooms. In short, the system can have the ability to capture all kind of information. So the technologies. In this project, we have used Java programming language J2EE using Eclipse, and we have used PostgreSQL for database. Okay, so let's talk about the stakeholders and their interests. So basically we have 4 stakeholders in our system. One is student, second is supervisor, third is warden, and fourth is HMC. So let's go to student. Students have to register into the system with student ID and webmail password. So first of all, students have to register for the complaint. Okay. After this, student will log in with the username and password. Okay. If it is right, then after he can proceed. Okay. He can make a complaint to supervisor, and for that complaint he have to select a category. In which category they are complaining. Okay. And they can change the status of the complaint. For example, if I have made a complaint, okay, it is on pending state, and then my complaint is resolved, I can change my status to done. Okay, now he can also have the list of the events organized by the HMC. Okay, he can change the status of complaint like solved or not, I said before, and he can manage his or her profile except password. He can change your password. Okay, he cannot change your password. I'm sorry, he cannot change your password, but he can change other details. Okay, he can edit your profile. Let's talk about supervisor. What supervisor can do? Supervisor will log in with username and password. For that, they don't need to register. They can allot the room to new students and have all the details of residents with room information. They can vacate the allotted room. They can view and resolve the complaint posted by students. They can view events again which HMC has posted. They can change the status of complaint like solved or not. Before I have said the student also can change status, likewise this supervisor can also change status. Okay. Next is warden. Warden need a login with their username and password. For that, need not to register. Again, like supervisor, warden also need not to register. They can directly log in and do their work. Okay. They can resolve the complaint which is forwarded to them. Supervisor can forward the complaint to the warden if it is more than 15 days. Okay. Warden can resolve that complaint. Next is HMC. HMC need a login with their username and password. Again, they not need to register. They can review the complaints and resolve them which is forwarded to them. And as soon as possible, they can resolve it. Okay. Supervisor can send the complaint to warden if it is greater than 15 days, and warden can send to that complaint to HMC if days are greater than 15. Okay, and complaint is not resolved. At last, HMC can add and manage the events. The students, warden and supervisor sees the events. That events is managed by HMC. Okay. Now let's talk about functional requirements. First functional requirement is registration. Who can do registration in our system? There is only one actor, that is student. Only student can register in our system. For that, student have to register into the system. For that, he or she has to provide the valid information like student ID and webmail password. Okay, and which will be verified through webmail system registration. So, what is doing in this process? So, student have to register with their webmail password and student ID. Okay. When he enters student ID and webmail password, that webmail ID goes to webmail goes to the student. Okay. For verification, he has to log in with webmail and do the successful message. Okay. Next is login. There are 4 actors in login: student, supervisor, warden and HMC. Okay. User can sign in by registered username and password. Username should be student ID or given ID and password, and it should be webmail password itself. For that, for registration, you need not to mention new password. you have to use your webmail password, and for login you have also used webmail password. Next is handle complaint. Again, all the actors, student, supervisor, warden and HMC can have access to handle complaint. So there are four categories. First is select complaint category. So student will have the role in this. So student can review the categories of the complaint like cleaning, electric, furniture, etc. Okay, student have to select category before complaining. When a student has a complaint, what he does? He log into the system, then he selects the category. In which category he has the complaint. For example, I have complaint regarding electronics, so I have to select the category electronics. Okay, so he selects the complaint category. Next is add complaint details. After selecting the category, student will enter the description about the complaint and can also provide a proof like image. What I am saying in this, I'll give you an example. If I have problem in my fan, okay, it is damaged. So what I'll do, I'll select category furniture or other, whatever. Okay, I'll click a picture of my fan and post it. Okay, in a complaint I'll post it. So that will be the proof of my complaint. Next is resolve complaint. Supervisor will have handle of this complaint. So supervisor will resolve the complaint by taking some action. If complaint will not resolve within 15 days, that will be forwarded to warden. And if warden will not be able to resolve the complaint within 15 days, it will be forwarded to HMC. Okay. Next is change status. So student and supervisor both can change status. Student will change status when the work is done or any other, and supervisor can also do that. Okay. So next functional requirement is handle event. Only one actor is there, which is HMC, Hostel Management Committee itself. Okay. So first is review the events. In that, HMC member, students and warden, all those can see the list of events which is added by HMC. Add event details. HMC member can add new event into the list which is to be held into the hostel. Next is edit or delete event. Okay, what is event? Events are held in hostel. Basically games or any competition, that all are included in events. Okay, so HMC does that. So I was talking about edit and delete event. So after adding the event, it can be updated or deleted according to the need. Okay, I have added an event, okay, that is over, that is completed. So I need to delete that complaint. Or some details are changed, or venue or dates, etc. is changed. So I have to update that event. Okay. Next is hostel room allotment. The actor is supervisor, and supervisor have access to this requirement. So first is review empty rooms. So for that, supervisor first of all checks the availability of the empty room for allot it to the new student. Any student wants a room, what supervisor does? Supervisor first checks that if room is available or not, and if room is available, they allot it to the student. Next is allot room. Supervisor allots the empty room with necessary details and make entry into the system if room is available. Okay, so what supervisor does? Supervisor take necessary details like student ID, room number, etc. Okay, and make entry into the system. Obviously he has to enter into the system. Okay. Next is update room details. Supervisor can change the room members and allotment details. If I have some problem with my partner and I want to change my room, or else is there any problem in the room, so I have to change my room, and for that I have to update room details. Okay. Next is manage profile. Actor is student. Student can see his or her profile and can change the room details and contact details only. Student cannot change password here. So we have done with our functional requirement. So let's talk about non-functional requirement. So there are 5 non-functional requirement. First of all, talk about the deployment. So the hostel management system is locally developed in hostel area. That is deployment. Security. We have the functionality to secure the data, and student or any other user can log in their account securely. Without authenticating the login details, no other can use the system. The complaint made by the student will also be confidential. Next is performance. If we talk about performance, then many students can use the system at a time, and the system can store n number of student record. Next is user interface. Hostel management system provides the user interface to all kind of users like student, HMC, warden, so that they can familiar with the system and easily use this hostel management system. And the last is availability. This system will be available 24/7 to all the user. Whenever you want any help, anything regarding the hostel management system, it will be available 24/7. Okay. So we are done with our non-functional requirement. Now let's talk about use case diagram. But first, we have to understand what is use case. A use case is methodology used in system analysis to identify, clarify and organize system requirements. It is a list of actions or event steps, typically defining the interaction between a role and a system to achieve a goal. Now, use case diagram is a representation of a user's interaction with the system that shows the relationship between the users and different use cases in which user is involved. So let's see what happens in this diagram. Why I have made this type of diagram. So this diagram shows the whole, this diagram shows the whole representation, okay, of hostel management system. So first of all, there are 4 actors, 4 major actors: student, supervisor, HMC and warden. And here is a webmail system which act as a secondary actor. Because why I have put this webmail application here? Because while registration, there is a verification process which is done through webmail. While handle complaining, when any notification occurs, that notification goes to webmail system. While handling events, when HMC adds new events, that events notification goes to webmail application. So the secondary actor I have put is webmail system. So here, what student does? Student first of all does registration. Okay. After registration, he can do login. Okay. After logging in, he can handle complaint. Okay. This process student can do, and student can also see the event. Okay. These processes are done by student. And handle room allotment. Why handle room allotment is connected to student? Obviously it will be connected because student can vacant room. Okay, it has vacant room. For that it has to check the room details, student details and all. Okay, while allotting room, student can also give his details of ID, webmail, etc. Okay, so for this, all these use cases, student is connected. Yeah, manage profile. Student can edit that profile. Okay, so student is also connected to this use case. So maybe you have a question in mind that why I have written extend here in a stereotype. because extend is used when something is exceptional, which is in either or option. So you'll in mind that registration is compulsory for login. Okay, but registration is compulsory only for student. Supervisor need not to register. And it may happen, if I register, I may log in, I may not log in. If I don't have any complaint, I will not log in. Okay, it is not compulsory to log in after registration. So it is extended. It is exceptional. So that's why I have extended it. So now coming to the supervisor, what supervisor does? Supervisor must have to log in first. Okay, after that he can check any new complaint has occurred or not, and if any complaint has occurred, he has to solve that procedure. Okay, so that's why he is connected with handle complaint. And handle room allotment. Any student want any room, supervisor checks this availability of the room. If room is available, supervisor allots that room to the student and takes the detail about student. Okay, all these processes are done through supervisor. So here I have connected login, handle complaint, and handle room allotment. Okay, so while student registers into the system, a webmail verification goes. So it is also connected to the webmail system. When any complaint occurs, okay, if the status is changed by supervisor, the student will get a notification in webmail, a webmail notification. And handle events. When HMC adds a new event or any competition is held by HMC, the notification of that also goes to HMC handler. Okay, next is warden. What does warden do? Warden obviously have to log in before doing something. Okay, supervisor forwards the complaint to the warden. If the complaint has exceeded greater than 15 days and complaint is not still resolved, the supervisor forward that complaint to the warden. So that's why warden can also have access to handle complaint use case. So for HMC, again HMC must log in. Okay, he can handle complaint when warden cannot handle complaint between in 15 days. Okay, the warden will forward that complaint to HMC. Okay, and HMC can resolve that complaint. And HMC can add new events, and delete new events, update new events. These all facilities are done by HMC only. So that's why only HMC has connection with handle event use case. Okay, I think you all have understand this use case diagram. Only major use cases I have put here: registration, manage profile, login, handle complaint, handle event, handle room allotment. Any services are not defined in use case diagram. Okay, so that was for use case diagram. So now let's talk about use case description. What is use case description? It lists the component of a project step by step. In constraint to use case diagram, use case description captures variations of a use case. That is called the use case description. Here we are going to see one use case, only one description. You have to make description for each and every use cases of your use case diagram. Okay, I am going to show the major use case, that is handle complaint. Okay, there are several categories like brief description, primary actor, secondary actor, dependency, flow, secondary flow, etc. Okay, so first let's see brief description. Here you have to give brief description of your use case. For example, the use case is handle complaint. What does this use case do? Okay, so the supervisor gets all the complaint from student side and take a positive action to resolve that complaint to improve the hostel management, which means what complaint student does, okay, all those complaints go to supervisor. Okay, so the supervisor gets all the complaint from student side and take a positive action to resolve that complaint to improve the hostel management. Okay, for that supervisor can interact with the student, and if complaint will not resolve within specific days, then that complaint will be posted to higher authority. Okay, we have a constraint of 15 days. If the complaint posted by a student does not resolve in 15 days, so that complaint will be forwarded by supervisor to warden. And again, if warden cannot solve in within 15 days, warden will forward that complaint to HMC, which is the highest authority. Primary actors, okay, the primary users of this handle complaint use case is supervisor, HMC, warden, student, all four. Okay. Secondary actor is webmail system. Why is it so? Webmail system is secondary actor because when any new complaint occurs or any status can change, okay, at that time the one notification occurs in webmail system. Okay, so that's like this webmail system is connected to this use case as a secondary actor. There are no dependency. Dependency means extend and include stereotypes. Okay, this calls are dependency. Generalization. There is no generalization here. Okay, so let us know about the flow of event. You have to write the flow of event here. So what we first do? First, student selects a category for the complaint to be entered. Okay, and then enters the complaint in details. Okay. Then supervisor will get all the complaints and those complaints will be arranged in order in which they are created. Okay, it will be created in date wise order. Okay, supervisor will take action to resolve the equipment. Okay, supervisor will take action to resolve that complaint. Actions will being taken. Supervisor will change the complaint status from new to working. Okay, in this supervisor can change the status. For example, if I have posted a new event, the status will be new. Okay, if I have given the work of that complaint to any worker, so that will be on working stage. Okay, after completing and resolving the process, supervisor will change the complaint status from working to complete. Okay, so student will get the webmail notification for this complaint status of the complaint. Now student can change the final status as done or close when he or she will get satisfied with the actions. Okay, this was the basic flow. So let's see what is the alternate flow. Alternate flow means what are the constraints, what are the conditions, and what are the other actions. Okay, so if any time system fails, okay, so student restarts the system. At that time the system can fail when it is logging into system or goes to registration if not registered. Okay, these all are alternate flow. At any time get out from complaint panel. There is a complaint panel. If any time it is closed, okay, so student clicks on the, there are two possibilities. One is student clicks on the cancel button while creating a complaint, so that at that time the complaint is get out from the system. The supervisor clicks on the cancel button while handling complaint. Okay, that is instant occurring of cancel button. Then again here I have mentioned 5.1. okay, this is 5.1. so what does that mean? It means in basic flow 0.5 supervisor will take action to resolve the complaint. There is a further activity which is mentioned in alternate flow. Okay, so further is what? In resolving process, if supervisor need to interact with student regarding the complaint, he or she can give response message to the complaint. Okay, when student posts a complaint, what does supervisor do? So supervisor just check the complaint and understand it. If supervisor did not understand the complaint, what he does? He has to give response message to the complaint to interact with the student regarding the complaint. Okay, second alternative of fifth point is student can also reply back to that response. Okay, so now let's see the sixth point. Sixth point is what? When actions will be being taken, supervisor will change the complaint status from new to working. Okay, 6.1 says one constraint for not to solve complaint. If given complaint will not resolve within 15 days, then the complaint will be posted to higher authority than the supervisor named warden. Okay, I said before this, okay, that procedure is happening here. Okay, now warden will take care of that complaint. But what if warden cannot resolve that complaint within 15 days? Okay, what will be done if warden cannot resolve that complaint within 15 days or more? Total 30 days after making the complaint. Then it will be hand over to the HMC, which is the higher authority of all of them. Okay, and final, HMC will resolve the complaint and notify to warden, and warden will notify to supervisor. Okay, alternate flow. After alternate flow, we have precondition. Precondition means any condition which you want before the handling complaint. So first of all, when you need, student must log in into the system for creating a new complaint, and it is by default. Second is supervisor, HMC, warden have complaint for handling process. Okay, all the users can access the complaint. Post condition means what? Post condition means after doing the process, what will be the actions? Okay, the complaint will be closed or done after resolving process. Okay, extension and variations. There are no extension and variations in this use case, and special requirement are internet connection. Without that, I cannot attend. Okay, so that was all about use case description. Let's have a brief look. So there are so many points. Brief description, you have to describe your use case. Primary actor, main actors are those primary actors. Secondary actor, webmail system which interacts with student. Dependency, generalization, basic flow, alternate flow, and precondition, post condition, extension, variation, and special requirement. So this was our use case description. Okay. Now have a look at activity diagram. What is an activity? Activity is a particular operation of the system. An activity diagram is basically a flow chart of representing the flow from one activity to another activity. That is called activity diagram. Okay, now this is activity diagram for login, registration, manage profile, handle event, handle room allotment. We are going to watch or learn about handle complaint, which is the major functionality. Okay, I have made the swim lane diagram for this. Okay, you can make normal, but swim lane is more preferable. Okay, for this, with the process, the flow of complaint process goes that like that you have to make a activity diagram. Okay, first of all, what does student do if he want to complain something? So he first of all selects the category. Okay, so it starts from here. Okay, and selects category. Yeah. Okay, so here it starts from here and selects a category, and then after selecting a category, it enters the complaint details, which means the details of the complaint, detailed description of your complaint. Okay, and this is the starting point. Okay, when you start anything, you have to mention you have to do it by this symbol. This is the symbol of starting. Okay, this enter complaint details and select complaint is done by student, so that's why it is written in student part. Okay, and after entering the complaint details, all these complaint can be viewed by supervisor. So view all complaint are written in supervisor part. Okay, after viewing this complaints, supervisor gives response to student. Okay, and that response goes to student, and student can watch that response. Okay, after watching that response, student can also reply to supervisor and give response, and supervisor can also see that response. Okay, this process goes and goes on and on until it does not have any ending loop or ending condition. Okay, so see, here I have mentioned loop. Okay, what is this? This is loop. For this, what does that mean? It means the process which is under this loop is done until the condition has not occurred. Okay, until the condition is not fulfilled, that is called loop. Okay, after viewing response of supervisor takes action. Okay, and it checks that the complaint has 15 days or not. Okay, if it has 15 days, okay, it changes the status. Okay, the complaint is done, if a complaint is completed in 15 days, then it changes status to working, from working to done. Okay, that done status goes to student, and student can end that process. This symbol is for ending the process. But what if the complaint is not done in 15 days? Okay, I have told earlier that when complaint is not done in 15 days, that complaint is forwarded to warden. So exactly what happens here? Okay, if a complaint is not done in 15 days, it goes to warden. I forgot to tell you that this diamond is used for mentioning the complaints or any constraints. Okay, yeah. So when it is not done in 15 days, it goes to warden. So that's why it is written in warden part. Okay, for in that he can view complaint and take action. Again, it checks that complaint is done in 15 days or not. If it is done in 15 days, it goes to change status. It changes the status to done, and that status goes to student, and it terminates. Okay, but if it is not done in 15 days, it again goes to HMC. HMC can view that complaint and take action. This time the complaint will be successfully done. So it changes the status, and again that status goes to student, and it can change it can terminate this process. But when the change status occurs, at that time the webmail notification goes to student. Okay, a webmail notification goes to student, and student can see that webmail notification, and after that it can change status. Okay, so this was the activity diagram for handle complaint. I hope you have understood this handle complaint activity diagram. Thank you.
Hi, Hardik Bora here. My project partner Jagruti told you about the functionality and use cases of the system named Hostel Management System. Now I am going to present the idea about how to model the sequence diagram by using use case description. Basically, sequence diagram is an interaction diagram that shows object interaction arranged in the time sequence. So first of all, we have to identify the objects from use case description. There are three main categories of objects: boundary object, controller, and entity object. Let me tell you about the terminology that will be used in sequence diagram. The terminologies are controller, boundary object, entity object, actor, lifeline, activation line, message, reply message, alternative flow, and loop box. Let's see the sequence diagram for handle complaint. The description of handle complaint is here. Student can make a complaint and can view his or her complaints. After that, supervisor can view complaints and take necessary action for that complaint. If supervisor cannot resolve within some time, then it will forward it to warden and then to HMC. Responses can be exchanged between students and supervisors. Complaint status will also be managed. So let's have a look on the diagram. There are four actors that are student, supervisor, warden, and HMC. One boundary object, that is complaint page. There are two controllers named complaint controller and DB controller, and two entity objects that are webmail system and complaint DB. First of all, student posts the complaint. For that, student selects the category and fill complaint details for the complaint. That details will be stored into the database. For that, complaint controller interact with DB controller. After storing the complaint, it will send the acknowledgement. Now if supervisor have any doubt or want to tell anything regarding the complaint, he will send the response. At that time, the mail notification will be sent to the student. Student can also send back the responses. This process is in loop. That's why we are putting it into the loop box. Now there are two alternative flows. One is if the supervisor cannot resolve the complaint within 15 days, then the status is changed to complete and mail notification sent to student. Else, if student supervisor cannot resolve in 15 days, then it will be sent to the warden. Now warden will take care of that complaint. But same condition applicable for warden also. If warden cannot resolve the problem within 15 days, then it will be hand over to HMC. That is the alternative flow second. It applicable for warden. After resolving the problem, after resolving the complaint, student will change the status of the complaint from working to complete. For completing any complaint, make sure that supervisor and student both change the status to complete. If anybody remain, then complaint cannot be fulfilled. Hello, Hardik Bora on this side. Now we will see how we can model the state chart diagram using sequence diagram. First of all, we have to know what is the state chart diagram. State chart diagram is one of the various UML diagrams used to model dynamic nature of the system. They define different states of an object during its lifetime, and these states are changed by events. State chart diagram describes the flow of control from one state to another state. States are defined as a condition in which an object exists and it changes when some event is triggered. So the most important purpose of the state chart diagram is to model lifetime of an object from creation to termination. State chart diagrams are also used for forward and reverse engineering of a system. To draw the state chart diagram, first of all identify the object to be analyzed from sequence diagram, then identify the states, and finally identify the events. Now let's have a look on the state diagram for handle complaint use case. The first state is an idle state from where the process starts. The next state are arrived from events like add complaint, view complaint, add response, and change status. These events are responsible for state changes of order objects. After idle state, when all the complaints are displayed, then it goes to the next state, that is S1 state. Now from this state, three events can be occurred: add complaint, change status, and add response. According to the event, state will be changed. If add complaint event will occur, then it goes to the next state, that is insertable state. In this state, after idle state, when selection of category event occurred, then it will go to S2.1 state and then final state. But after S1 state, if change status event will occur, then it will go to the S3 state and then final state. For add response event, S4 state will be next state after S1 state. After filling the response, it will move to the final state. So the question is, why we are using this diagram? The answer is here: to model object states of a system, to model reactive system. It consists reactive objects, to identify events responsible for state changes, forward and reverse engineering. So this is the state chart diagram. Hi, I'm Hardik Bora. Hope you enjoyed this software design session. We try to give you the brief explanation about all the diagrams using our project. Now we will see the analysis class diagram that will be modeled using sequence diagram. We can model analysis class diagram using various techniques, but we are using sequence diagram for modeling the class diagram. Let's have a look on what is analysis class diagram. The analysis class diagram is static diagram. It represents the static view of the system. Class diagram is not only used for visualization, describing and documenting different aspects of a system, but also for constructing executable code of the software application. Class diagram shows the collection of classes, attributes, methods, associations, interfaces, etc. It is also known as a structural diagram. The UML diagrams like activity diagram, sequence diagram can only give the sequence flow of the system, but analysis class diagram is a bit different. It is the most popular UML diagram in the coder community. How to draw the analysis class diagram? For that, identify all the types of objects from the sequence diagram and put them as a classes. Then associate all classes and make one class diagram with proper multiplicity, attributes, methods, etc. Let's see the analysis class diagram of our system, that is hostel management system. Here the main class is user, that is the generalized class of student class, supervisor class, HMC class and warden class. We are putting one common controller class for whole system, that is HMC controller, because all the users need to log into the system before perform any activity. So user class will use the login form class. Then login details like username and password will give it to the controller called HMC handler. It validates the details. Like the registration will perform, because only student can do the registration. Only student class is associated with registration class. HMC member can associate with event class. Event name, date, description, venue, all these are the attributes of the event class. Room allotment class consists the allocation and vacant methods which is performed by the supervisor. Wing, which is the attribute of the room allotment class. Wing can be A, B, C, D and E only. For that we added one enumerator for wing. We are added one more enumeration, that is the for the category of the complaint. When we talk about the multiplicity, then user can make many complaints and one complaint can be handled by many users. Likewise, one login form is used by many users, but one user will use only one login form. So like this we can create the analysis class diagram for any system. Now question is why analysis class diagram is used? So answer is here. Describing the static view of the system, showing the collaboration among the elements of the static view, describing the functionalities performed by the system, construction of software applications using object-oriented languages. Hello, I am Hardik Bora. I am going to present the concept of OCL, that is Object Constraint Language. As name suggests, OCL is used for apply some constraints into the objects. Let's briefly talk about the OCL. The Object Constraint Language is a language that enables one to describe expressions and constraints on object-oriented models and other object modeling artifacts. After this all discussion, let's see some rules and constraints which apply to our system. But before that, now the question in mind is why OCL required? So here is the answer. Graphic model is not enough for precise and unambiguous specification in OO modeling. Need to describe additional constraints about the object in the model. Using natural language to describe such constraints will often result in ambiguities. Formal language is only good for professionals with strong mathematical background. To fill this gap, OCL was designed. Now let's see some rules and constraints which apply to our system, hostel management system. First constraint is number of students in room can't exceed than room capacity. So in OCL there is a class name named room allotment. Because this constraint is context to this class, In each room, residents should not more than 2, so we are using size function. Let's see second constraint. Student must be registered before post any complaint. Here precondition for registration method is student. Student should not be already registered into the system. Means the username of student should not be already available into the system's database. Post condition is after registration, student can make a complaint. In third constraint, if supervisor is not able to resolve the complaint within 15 days, then it will be transferred to the warden. This constraint is context to complaint class. Here we used if and else decision making. If complaint was made before 15 days and still not resolved and currently handled by supervisor, then it will be handled to warden. Now warden will take care for that complaint. Likewise, all these constraints are present here. More constraints are if warden is not able to resolve the complaint, then it will be transferred to the HMC. The OCL is here. If room allotment will be done in subject to room availability, so the size for residents in a room should be 0. Next constraint is exact only one room is allotted to any student, so the room is the size of the room is 1. Next constraint, student must be of same gender in a wing, so for all wing the residents gender should be male. Password length must be less than 8, should not be less than 8, should not be less than 8. So the size for the password must be greater than equal to 8. Likewise, all these constraints are present in our system. This is the class diagram in which we are applying OCL. You can see student class have constraint 2, constraint 6 and constraint 11. User class have constraint 8. Then complaint class have constraint 3, 4, 12. Let's see what is constraint 12. Constraint 12 is student must select the category before submit the complaint. So it says self.select category equal to string, means precondition should be post category should be null, and post condition is field complaint detail. After selecting the category, student can fill category complaint details. Thank you.
Now we are going to talk about package diagram. So let's see what is a package diagram. So let's talk about first what a package is. A package is a namespace used to group together elements that are semantically related and might change together. Its general purpose mechanism is to organize elements into groups, provided better for system model. Okay, now let's see what package diagram is. Package diagram is UML structure diagram which shows packages and dependencies between the packages. Model diagrams allows to show different views of system. For example, a multi-layered application model. The following nodes and edges are typically drawn in package diagram. Those are package, packageable elements, dependency, element import, package import, and package merge. Okay, so let's see what is a package diagram here. Here there are four users: student, HMC, warden, and supervisor. Here we have to divide all the process into a package for a related process. Okay, you have to make package of all related process into one. which means used to group together elements. Those are semantically related. Okay, here registration form and student profile are in one package. Why is it so? Because student can do both things. Only student can do both things, registration and student profile. Okay, so we have made a package named student management, which has access to student class. Okay, so we have written here that student can perform student management page, that is called registration form and student profile. Okay, next is login form. Okay, login, all the 4 user can do login. So I have extended by user can perform a login. So here I have said access. There is a method called access, which means that after registration process you can also log in, which means this package has access to this class. Okay, then supervisor. What does supervisor do? A supervisor handles room. There is another different process, so put it into a one package, that is handle room. Then supervisor handles room. Okay, like that the complaint management. Okay, all the user can do complaint. Okay, and for complaint it has to log in. Okay, so then login is performed after, by complaint. Okay, for making a complaint, a student or any person has to log in. So that's why we have mentioned the relation between login and complaint class. And complaint is a different procedure. So that's why I have put it into a new package named complaint management. Okay, all the 4 users have access to this. So we have mentioned it from user to complaint class. The end name is handle, which means user can handle complaints. Okay, we are left with one, that is HMC. What HMC can do? HMC can only update, delete and add the HMC events in the hostel. Okay, that means HMC has relation to HMC event package. Okay, I have made this package because HMC is a new event and a different, so it is into a new package. So HMC can post events. Okay, so that was called a package diagram because this was divided into some parts. Okay, and they are strongly connected. The parts are strongly connected. That is called a package diagram. Now we are going to talk about design pattern. What is design pattern? It is a general repeatable solution to commonly occurring problem in software design. It is a description or template for how to solve a problem that can be used in many different situations. In our system, we are using 3 design patterns. First is filter pattern. What is filter pattern? It enables developers to filter a set of objects using different criteria and chaining them in a decoupled way through logical operation. There are 4 users in our system. One is student, supervisor, warden and HMC. All these users has access to complaint class. They all play crucial role in handling complaint. All these complaints belong to category class. That is, every complaint has a category. Another pattern is singleton pattern. What is singleton pattern? This provides one of the best way to create an object. It involves single class which is responsible to create an object while making sure that only single object gets created. The database class is used for establishing the connection. In the whole system, only one instance of the database class will be created. That's why we can call this database class as the holder class. Next is adapter pattern. What is adapter pattern? It is a design pattern that allows the interface of an existing class to be used as another interface. It is often used to make existing class work with other classes without modifying this source code. This pattern involves a single class which is responsible to join functionality of independent or incompatible interfaces. Adapter pattern allows the interface of one class to be used as another class. Here in our system, the interface of provider class is used into the another interface called database provider class. This class is used to the database class. So that's why this all pattern matches in our system. Thank you. By this, we came to an end of this report. If you have any doubt regarding our report, you can ask us. And if you want to give any suggestions, and if you think we are lacking in any domain, you are free to tell us. Our contact number is mentioned here. Thank you.